See you. All right, welcome everybody. Lovely to see you all. We have a nice full agenda tonight, but I think we can move through it with some some efficiency. Starting with the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting on the 13th, which I was gratefully excused from.
You were busy.
I was busy.
I move to accept those minutes.
All right. Anybody have anything?
Second.
Change or alter? No. All right. Geez, I missed one meeting and you guys all go Robert's rules on me. So this is pretty good. Okay, we got moving and seconding. You guys want to vote? Why not?
Yeah, that's good enough.
All right, who wants to accept these minutes? Great. And hey, Karen, welcome. Okay, yeah, I mean, I have no input on the minutes since I wasn't there to say whether these are accurate or not. But if y'all who were there say they're accurate, then we'll consider them accepted. Okay, member reports. So we can go around if members have reports. And hi, Katie, welcome. Yeah, Heather, please.
Today I attended the hearing between, I can't remember the state healthcare commission. I can't remember what the formal name is. They were responding to Wyndham Hospital and their parent Hartford Healthcare, the request to permanently close the labor and delivery birthing services. It was they had a hearing all day starting at 10, but opened it up for public comment at 3, but you had to register by 2. So I provided testimony from our letter that the town approved us. And then I also provided my own, on behalf of myself, comments about, and the importance and the ideas. I wanted to really refute the claims that it can't be done safely, because I previously worked at a critical access facility that was very small, and we had really, really remarkable maternal child outcomes. And I don't know what will come of that. There was a long list of people to speak, both for and against. So we'll see.
Great, thank you for doing that. The folks had reached out to ask if we might participate in that, and of course you all remember we had authorized the letter that Heather had drafted, and so appreciate you continuing to lead on this, Heather. Other member reports? Yeah, Katie.
So we had a grant funding opportunity come our way with a really quick turnaround. So we did get it into the Community Foundation of Eastern Connecticut, and it's through some legacy funding with NACASA, which previously had been the distributor of the local prevention council grant that the Mansfield Youth Service Bureau has gotten for a bazillion years. So we were target audience, and we put in an application for the maximum amount that they were doing per community of $1,500 towards general suicide prevention and substance use initiatives. So we wrote up the grant as a suicide prevention event, by helping it to hopefully fund the Pride celebration in June that we're hoping to bring together, knowing that community visibility, acceptance, and celebration is really a resilience factor for especially our LGBTQ youth, where they see their community as affirming and accepting, even if maybe other members of their direct world are not. So we are hoping, fingers crossed, that we will get some of that funding to help move forward in planning that event. And I know our My Pride group is really excited about there is going to be some sort of event, and the funding will kind of help dictate a little bit what that looks like. And they're excited to have some feedback into those things as the world develops.
Great, fantastic. So good luck, fingers crossed on the grant. And then regardless, of course, whatever funding comes in, obviously you can count on the commission's support for your work on Pride related events. So just keep us posted. Amy, did you have a member report?
I do, and actually I think this is a perfect follow-up to Katie. We do have, I'm putting in the chat now, we have a speaker who next week on Monday, so very short notice for everybody, but it came together rather quickly. And this individual will be talking about LGBTQIA rights and healthcare. So there's the link for that. We are hopeful that our GSA members are going to be coming. We've invited, the school community, the administration, et cetera, et cetera. And then Derek, would you like to speak to what happened? Oh, well, I've got one other thing, and then I'll let Derek, please, if you would speak. Derek also helped. We just made our submission to the National Council of Teachers of English. We submitted our workshop on deliberation discourse and social equity. So we did a crazy recording, and we've got all closed captioned, and we've got that in. So that'll be available for anybody through NCTE. Yeah. And then Derek, would you like to talk about last night?
Since I'm probably going to mess something up, I would rather not.
Okay, well, I don't think, I would beg to differ, particularly because I received an email from another teacher today who spoke directly to Derek's performance last night. But we had our first public forum last night on teaching truth. We held an encounter style forum, and the students ran most of the show. We also had our first few hiccups with a couple of belligerent participants that we had to figure out how to quiet. But all in all, it was a very successful night. Derek was a facilitator, and as I just mentioned, we got some very positive feedback. And if people would like, I will share the link to the presentation that the students put together. And that way I'll put it in here in a minute. And that way you can see the text that the kids chose as well. But it was all in all, in spite of the couple of unexpected comments, it was a really positive night. Sean Solvent from UConn was there. We had Kedra Adam, I can't figure her last name now, but I only know her by Kedra. But anyway, she's a PhD student at UConn right now, but just a really great group of panelists. So I will put that information in. It was a good night.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations to you. Congratulations, Derek. I know it's no small feat to go into those spaces and moderate, and particularly on the difficult conversations that you all are bringing to the fore. And so I think that that courage of making sure that even though we know actually that backlash is increasing out there to try and put a stop to some of these conversations, that persevering is important. So thank you.
I actually do want to mention something about the students who interrupted. They actually spoke during the portion of it that was designated for the experts. So yeah, obviously, quite an obvious violation of the sort of regulations that we implemented here. And also a note on the facilitating aspect. At least for part of it, I noticed that a lot of groups didn't, in many groups, at least in mine, conversation to develop. And I think, am I cutting out? Because everyone is
You were a
frozen.
little bit, yeah. Try it again. What you got cut off right when you said you noticed in some of the groups, or at least in yours.
Sorry. Okay, let me repeat that. So at least in my breakout room, I particularly noticed that this sort of natural conversation amongst the different participants started kind of really developed without any intervention from the facilitator. So I believe that really goes to show how engaged everyone was with the discussion. I think that, I believe, should just be mentioned as a success. There was also a bit of a contention surrounding some questions, but it was generally resolved in a and there was actually a specific rule in the encounters dialogue preventing that. So yeah, just wanted to highlight those as some points of success.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Derek. Yes, sometimes the best thing for good facilitation is just to stay out of the way of a great conversation that's happening. So that's
that was
part
a
of
significant problem for me the first time. Ms. Mlk, I think you remember that because you were in my breakout room. But this time, if anything, I went a bit too far in the opposite direction. I actually had some very valid and relevant questions that I sought to ask the members of my breakout room, but didn't. So, yeah.
Good. Well, we're all on a learning curve, and so it's good to have opportunities to continue to progress. But thank you again. I appreciate your work, both you and Amy, for continuing these conversations. Other member reports. Anyone else have anything they would like to share? Okay. Great. Well, thank you all. Let's continue through the old business segment. So we've got two items here. One is the survey update and rollout information. So in our last town charge subcommittee group, we discussed our plans for the much delayed report out on the survey, and we looked up at the calendar and thought, hey, well, we've waited so long that essentially we have a perfect opportunity on Human Rights Day to issue our Human Rights Survey report. So that's the current target. And we're going to wrap it in a larger report about our activities over the past year. And I think the idea would be hopefully that we could make this just an annual date that the commission submits to the council the report on human rights activities that we've engaged in. Heather agreed to start the drafting of the report. It's got several segments for different parts of our activities, and then a substantive portion that describes the findings from the survey. So Heather, do you want to talk about, that was the one that you took on, that portion?
Am I unmuted?
Yes. And sorry, I waited until I made sure you were eating before I designated you.
I know, right? Yeah. So I'm just going to open it in my file really fast.
And while you're looking, I'll just say at a certain point, what I'm going to ask is if people want to volunteer to either proofread or help organize the final report, so that we can get it done, so that we can approve at our next meeting, which is 2 days before Human Rights Day, and make sure then it can go into the council. So, but I'll let you think about that. While Heather, now, did you pull it up?
So yeah. So I thought the report would start with an executive summary, just like a really brief, like highlight, 1 page of the whole report. That isn't written yet. But I started with then the full report with the background, showing how we were formed, what our mission is, just kind of reviewing some of that. Then I did like a brief explanation of some of the initiatives we've done or completed this year. Those included, although I guess I could add now the testifying, but the letter about Wyndham Hospital that we sent, the changing of Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day, along with the beautiful website that's been developed and is being, developed. The proclamation of June as LGBTQIA Pride Month, along with the flag that will fly. I think it's the Pride Progress flag. And the Mansfield Celebrate Mansfield Festival. And then about the, I left a space for the mural project because I don't think I would be the best person to talk really about that in detail. And then I went more in detail about the human rights survey, talking about the demographics, and then some of the big outcomes of interest, hitting on just the kind of major highlights. And we do have the presentation slides with like tables and charts and things from Pamela, who really was remarkable in her statistics, expertise. So I pretty much went through that. I also left a space for Derek's really detailed and I'm sure time-intensive qualitative findings, because I think that's really important information that he was able to put together for us. I did include strengths of the study and then limitations, which we've discussed at meetings. And then I left a space for like a brief conclusion. So it's really just like an informative summary of our work.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Heather. Essentially what we want to do is to continue the drafting work. And I want to make sure we're not missing something that should be in there. So to recount again, there's reporting out on the intervention, both the letter and now your testimony with regard to Wyndham Hospital, the establishment of recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day, the support for ongoing recognition of Pride Month, the participation in Celebrate Mansfield, the Mural Project. I also think we need to add the refugee. They asked us for those recommendations and we provided those as well. Katie's reminding us about Juneteenth, our Juneteenth work. Are there other things that we have done that we want to make sure we're reporting out on in this document? Anybody recalls? Okay.
What did you say before Juneteenth?
The Afghan refugee resolution and recommendations that we did last month or month and a half ago or whenever that was. Okay, so I can put in the items on the mural project and the Afghan refugee, or at least the initial draft. I know you were hoping, Heather, that Derek might help with the survey qualitative results. Derek, are you able to do that?
I should be.
Great, thank you so much. And then Barbara, thank you for putting in the chat that you volunteered to help proofread. Might there be one other set of eyes that could go over this and add? Karen, that's you? Okay, great. So essentially,
Karen, or Barb, can someone write the executive summary and the conclusion?
I don't know if I can. I can usually write okay, but I have to go through and proofread everything. I'm not sure that I would know exactly what to write.
Jane?
Yeah, that's easy for me.
Okay.
So send me what you got and I'll make it sound like it's very short. And the end will be, and we're all wonderful.
That's right. Yes, that's.
That will be the summary comment.
So can you send me all this stuff online so that I can
Yes,
proofread it?
so tell you what we'll do, and Heather put this through as a, well, I guess let me ask Monica, if we turn this into a Google Doc, is that?
Can I just, if I'm proofreading, it's so much easier for me if I have actual paper. Is it possible to print it out? I'd be happy to drive up there and pick it up. I'm technologically not real competent.
So, well, I'm making notes on it right now, based on what we're saying. So I'm kind of updating it, adding who's going to do the parts. I'll have to fill in just a little bit about the testify, add that. Then I'll save it as a new document. I'll send it to you, Glenn. Is that, well, the only thing is I don't want people to have multiple versions going.
Yeah, that's why I was suggesting the Google Doc, but I want to hear from Monica if we're allowed such things.
So I think that's a pretty big gray area. I would suggest not doing it. Just because if we're doing that and we're changing things, it's like you're communicating about business of the commission without having it noticed. I think what might work best is if, Heather wanted to send it to Barbara, or, send it to me, I'll print it out and give it to Barbara, or if you want to come in, and then you can, make your corrections. I can scan it in, send it to Heather, and we can kind of do it that way. I think that would be unfortunately, or we can have another meeting. We do a special meeting with just the people who are going to work on it. I'm fine with hosting one of those, and we could, talk about it. Everyone can do their own thing. We can talk about it in public.
Yeah. Another meeting is not the thing I'm eager to do in the next month. So why don't I think that we'll just have to do it serially, which is to say, as Heather, you said that you've got the notes. I have a section I need to draft. I'll add that, and then when we have the complete draft, and actually Jane has to add her sections, and when we have all of those together, send them to Monica for distribution to Barbara and Karen for the proofread. So we will sequence it that way. It'll just be one after the other.
I need the draft before I can do my part if I'm going to do the executive.
Correct. So you'll get that from me.
Yeah.
So Heather's going to complete her section.
Fine.
She's going to send it to me. I'll complete my sections.
I'll send it to you tonight.
And then it'll be up to you, Jane, to read over, draft the executive summary and the conclusion, and then we'll have a full draft. So
Right. And then
Oh,
send it to me,
and Derek needs to add his part.
correct. So why don't we? All right, Derek, you'll go before me then. So Heather, send it to Derek, And then Derek. will
Okay.
send me.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds like a perfect.
So
right.
when it's all done, Monica, let me know. I'll come pick it up. And I'll take my red pen and go through. I'm pretty good at that.
Sounds good. Yep,
Okay.
will do.
You wouldn't want your red pen to go dry now in
No.
retirement. We'll give you plenty to mark up.
Withdraw my offer to proofread because that just sounds painful. I just like I'm happy to do a Google Doc but I just don't have time to do it the other way.
That's okay. I can do it. That's fine.
Sorry.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
all right.
no, that's fine. Okay, thank you, everyone. So the goal, of course, is to have a final document that we can review and approve at our next full commission meeting, which is the 8th of December. Okay, any other comments, questions, input on moving that forward? Great, thank you all. And welcome, Felicia, by the way. Okay, the second item under old business is the MLK Mural Project. Hopefully by now you're all very aware that the mural is up and just about finished, but will be unveiled on Saturday from 11 to 1 at what we know will be a glorious, beautiful, dry November day. Since the last time we reported out on this, we've finished the fundraising, we finished the design, the artist worked with the community to do some painting, and then the install, and we've planned a unveiling ceremony that's inclusive of music, of singing, of some remarks from our community partners, CORE, the schools, and what we hope will be some fun activities. So there'll be some food trucks there, there'll be some drawing and some painting, and just a chance to reflect on the important human rights legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and our town's commitment to advancing that legacy of justice in a way that's joyous, colorful, exciting, participatory. So we are proud and should be of this mural and what it says about our town, and it presents some responsibilities to us about how we go about fulfilling our mission. So we hope that you can be there, and if you can be there, we are looking for some volunteers to help. I think we're going to have a Mansfield Human Rights Commission table there, and so for the back hour, the 12 to 1, it would be nice if there was someone there. We were going to bring out the same map that we used at the Celebrate Mansfield Festival, so people can continue to identify, where in the world they're coming from, or trace their roots back to. So to continue that, and then to also just be able to chat with people about our commission, which I'm sure there's still those who don't know who we are and what we do. So
I can be there from 12 to 1.
Excellent.
I can't come before that because I have another meeting, but I can be there by noon.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Are there others who are able to join us that day? Heather, you'll be there?
I'll be at a wedding. I'm sorry.
I'm
Okay.
going with Cab.
Oh, that's right. Okay, great. So you'll be there doing double duty, Alicia. Thank you.
It's recruiting season, so I will not be able to be there, unfortunately.
Okay. No worries.
So will the table be set up? Will I be able to find it there?
Yeah, so it'll have our banner. It'll
Okay.
look very familiar from the Celebrate Mansfield festival. And Margaret will be, well, I think Margaret will be staffing it at that point. So we
Okay.
will we'll hand it over to you when you get there. So okay. Any other questions? All right. Okay, well, great. Let's keep on keeping on then. So on to new business. So 2 items here. One, as I've mentioned already, right? We are now exactly 1 month away from Human Rights Day 2021. And I think, we've got a plan already to submit a report, but I think we also want to use this opportunity to advance the goals of the commission. So happy to hear people's thoughts on what we'd like to do to market this year. Last year, you will recall, we put together a resolution for the town council to adopt, recognizing Human Rights Day. So I don't know if folks think we ought to do that again, but we could do that again. If there are other activities we'd like to do up to, so it's a Friday is Human Rights Day. If there's other actions, activities, messages we would like to highlight for Human Rights Day.
Glenn, I know that the Human Rights Club at EO is planning some activities, and I believe one of the plans is to be reading the articles aloud that afternoon. I'll find out more information because maybe we could also make sure that we're supporting them.
No.
And it might be something where we can then help advertise some of the things that they're doing and promote as part of our commission.
Great. Katie.
One of the things that is going on in town the Saturday before, the 4th, is the winter welcome. So I know the downtown partnership, I believe, is still accepting applications for like groups to decorate trees. So if folks had a really strong creative passion about putting together a human rights tree, maybe that is specifically, yes, it's on an evergreen tree. However, here's all of the other celebratory events that are happening in December. It's not just about Christmas and recognizing multiculturalism, and kind of the work of the Human Rights Commission. Throw some pride flags up, throw some Black Lives Matter signs up, or whatever other ideas folks had wanted to come up with. I know that is an advertising opportunity, but it is also a Saturday in December, and I know folks are very scheduled, as the case may be.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Katie. That's a great opportunity. Anyone interested in trimming a human rights tree?
I would be happy to work on it with somebody, but I can't take the lead. I'm like really overwhelmed right now.
Which Saturday, do you know?
It's Saturday, December 4th is the winter welcome.
I think it is. Yeah.
I got to play a concert that night.
Right. Well, we can raise this again when we do the outreach committee, as people reflect on it. But so that's another opportunity that's out there. Other things that folks think we ought to do. I mean, there could be, placing an op-ed in the Chronicle. Someone could write and have it go in. We could work with Margaret for. I don't know, what are the I guess it's not Twitter, but some sort of social media, like postings, on and around the day, just to put that out. 7:37 on a Wednesday, not the hour of creativity and in the imagination. So, we have a little time here. I think this is obviously an opportunity, particularly on the outreach communications side, and that committee meets next week. So, I would say let's continue to think about it. But I think, I would like to suggest that we do want to draft and propose another resolution by the town recognizing the day. Is that a shared?
Sure.
Okay, Katie, are you approving, or you got another?
Both.
Okay, good. Approved and idea.
Yes. One of my ideas would be potentially reaching out to the library, because they have tons of amazing books that are intersectional in a million different ways. If they were interested in putting together a display and tweeting out on their social media, I know they have tons of followers. Leslie is been an amazing partner in kind of cultivating the work of anti-racism and cultivating the work of acceptance and affirming communities. So they might be a really great way to help as the town as a whole kind of promote and celebrate that day.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. We did reach out to Leslie to see if they could join in the Mlk Mural Project, and unfortunately she was going away this weekend, so couldn't quite do it, but I know she's very eager and supportive of the work. So I think that's a great idea. Would anybody like to reach out to Leslie to?
I can shoot her an email on Monday. We're closed tomorrow and I'm off Friday, but I can add it to my Monday to-do list.
Okay, and you can loop me into that. I'll join that conversation as well. And yes, the EO librarian could do the same. So we should make that happen as well. So yeah, Amy.
Yeah, we could probably see if any of the other sending towns for Region 19 or the elementary schools might have a small selection of things that they could pull together too to help us. And I bet we could work on reaching out to the schools if that is of interest. And then just going back quickly to the idea about putting something in the Chronicle. I could likely do that. I'm in a crunch right now with college recs, but as of December 1st, they should mostly be done. So after that, I could probably put something together. And I'm just curious. So if that were to happen, Monica, does that then go, it's shared with all of these people, and then is it approved? Does it have to be approved by town council before it goes in? Like, how does that kind of thing work? I'm just curious.
I believe so. I believe that it would have to be approved by town council. But let me double check on that.
And if it was to come from officially the Human Rights Commission, that's likely, but you could also write it in your capacity and note that you're a member, right, for informational purposes. So either way, right? I mean, again, if it's late in coming, I wouldn't want to not do it because we couldn't go through right. You could still submit it and it could get it there, right? The message is more important in that sense. But if there is time and we can get it through, obviously it would be great if it could represent the whole.
Okay, we'll see.
You. Okay. Great. Okay. Well, I will. I'm happy to take the lead on the resolution again. I think I'll probably pull out the other one and update it in different ways. Perfect. Any other comments on Human Rights Day 2021? All right. Okay, so the last item of new business is on holidays and public meetings. So in your packet, you'll see a memo from Sarah Ann, and it looks like the town would like our advice or some suggestions on guidance for additional considerations for town committees meeting schedules aside from the mandated state holidays in which they don't meet. So as you know, we have tried to avoid major significant religious holidays, and I think coming up with a set of suggestions about how other commissions and committees should approach those sounds like it would be welcome. So in an effort to make the town's public functions more inclusive of a variety of people's holidays, that's the request here. So thoughts on addressing this request?
I thought it was maybe Felicia did this, make a list of all the major holidays. We have a chart someplace.
Yeah,
That-
somebody made a list or volunteered to make a list.
Right.
I made it for days for human rights, but I can add religious holidays if that would be good and send that out.
Right, that would be great, Felicia, if you could do that, right? So the calendar date thing is two tiered. One is the list of days that we might recognize, right, by sending out some communication or something, and want to highlight. And then the other are those days where people are engaged in family or community observance that we don't want to be scheduling meetings on. And so it's that second one I think we want to address here. So Felicia, if you want to take a look across those categories and get them to us, and then we can take a look and get over to Sarah Ann a suggested approach. So one, I think, it's both the dates themselves and then some guidance, right? I mean, these are not mandated state holidays in the same way that preclude possible meetings, but one might suggest the kind of best practice is to endeavor as far as is reasonably possible to avoid them, to attend to the community you're working with specifically. So if you've got a large number of Jewish constituents in particular, you would avoid the high holy days. Or if you were working with a Latin American immigrant population, you might want to attend to Three Kings Day or something in your scheduling that's particular to them. So in addition to the dates, we'll come up with some language around guidance about how you might make the most of that calendar.
We have my school district. I worked with them to put together a list, so I can send that to Felicia, and that might be a good guide. I think it's just during the school year. Actually, it might have summer things, but and then I think it's important to also note that not all the holidays are on a specific calendar day. That we don't all follow the same calendar, so that people need to adjust their calendars yearly to see when those dates fall.
That's a great point. So that guidance about how they end up where they end up on the calendar, and also where to go to find those dates. If so you can check on a regular basis. Okay. Other thoughts on this agenda item?
I think it's pretty cool they've reached out to ask us to do it.
Yeah, no, this is, what we're here for. So it's good to know we're of service. Yeah, Monica?
Just a question. I might have missed it though. Are we looking to add this to the next full commission meeting? Or are we looking to throw this to a subcommittee to approve? I didn't catch that.
We didn't say, I guess, how the final communication would be approved. So I think we've got maybe three options here. One, we add it to our next full commission meeting and we come back and we approve a wholesale. 2, as Monica suggests, we throw it to one of the subcommittees. It's probably the town charge committee. That's the best suited, since this is coming from the town as a charge to us. And the 3rd would be simply to authorize the document that comes out of the process that we set up ahead of time, which is to say, Karen's going to send Felicia the list from her school district. Felicia's going to, finalize those additions, and then I guess probably send it to me, and I'll make the final communication draft to send back to Sarah. And so, how would folks like to option 1, come back to the full commission? Option 2, come back to the town charge committee. Option 3, don't come back at all, just do the work and send it over. Amy says 3. 3s. Heather, you'd like to take a look? You're on the fence of 3 or 2. Okay. I mean, if people are comfortable, there's nothing kind of controversial that's going to be in this. So it's really, I think, mechanical. So, okay. So we'll just do it that way then, Monica. So we've approved to communicate that based on. All right. Thank you for that. Okay. And that is it for new business. So we have some communications that were sent to us, actually more than we've ever had before, between the memo from Sarah Ann and this note from Stephanie Huber from the Mansfield Historical Society. So in your packet, you'll see, oh, yeah, Monica?
Oh, I was just saying, and the town clerk's office.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So look at us. Everybody wants to send us messages. Mansfield Historical Society is sponsoring a program by the state archaeologist, Sarah Sportman, on the indigenous history and archaeology of Connecticut, specific to Mansfield. So this looks like it's going to be a great program. The registration details, as far as I'm aware, are not ready yet. But there's a placeholder on the MHS website, but it'll be on December 3rd at 7:30 p.m. So I'm planning to be there, but now that we're aware, and anybody who wants to share this out can. So, okay, the reports from the committee, the subcommittees are next. Town charge committee, I think we reported out pretty much what we're doing, which is to say the survey results. Is there anything to add from that one? Yeah, Amy?
So actually, I do think this pertains a little in somehow, I guess. I meant to mention earlier that there was I don't know what it was. I don't even remember the official title, like the statewide Human Rights Commission's meeting, and I was able to attend that. So I am on their list. I am supposed to attend another one in a month or so. I think they said every 6 weeks. It was an interesting evening. It was nice to see other commissions. I don't know that we discussed much of substance. But I think it'll be nice to be connected with them, and I was, happy to be there. So I will continue to do that as I'm able.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It is good to stay connected, and we'll stay aware of that network. Anything else from town charge? Okay, communications and outreach. Jane, I know you have something here.
Yeah, I want to just fill everybody in. I am making slow but determined progress on the Neighbors Project. I had a great conversation with Katie this morning, who explained to me how to do it. So now I feel much more confident than I did before. And it's beginning to look like we're going to have 4 sessions. The first one is going to be about growing up white in New England by a woman who's written a book to that effect, who's a wonderful speaker. And the other 3 sessions are going to be on faith communities in Mansfield, families in Mansfield, and people with special needs in Mansfield. And the format is going to be that there will be a moderator in each one who will be the person who presents the issues and raises the questions and gives an overview, and then several other people who will share that and who is a member of the group we're talking about. So the only one I have committed now is Jim Mercurio, who is the minister of the Methodist Church, who is really wonderful and has had all kinds of training and had to have good and difficult dialogue. So he's the one that's confirmed. And then we're still talking about how do we do the families in Mansfield session, and how do we raise kids, and what's it like to be a family in Mansfield. And we're trying to get several different non-dominant groups represented, like families with kids or somebody who is not gender conforming, and families who are African American, and maybe we're going to find a couple of other families that are not normal white straight people. And if I offended anybody, I apologize. I can't censor myself anymore. I'm too tired. And then the last one is going to be about people with special needs. And I'm going to talk to Carlita Cotton, who you may or may not know, but is a dynamite Black woman who lives in Mansfield. And her husband, he has some kind of mobility issue, and I don't know exactly what it is. But anyway, he helped write the ADA Act, and I think he's a lawyer. So, well, I'm going to get him to chair the discussion, and then we'll frame that one. And I'm anticipating January through March, every couple of weeks for these programs. It will, let me think. I have somebody working on fundraising, and that's a process because it goes through the town. What I really need right now is somebody who can help with publicity and shaping the whole presentation so that we have some kind of logo and a flyer, and we can post it in a lot of places. And when people see it, they say, oh yeah, here comes another one of those. So Glenn suggested that I talk to Margaret about that, which I will do, and that's where we are. I think if we get the money and we get the publicity person, I think we're going to be okay, and I just hope people are interested. I think they will be, but it all depends on how we present it to people and if they're interested in hearing what other people have to say. And the fundamental assumption is that we all live here together, but a lot of us who don't know people who are very different from us, and this is an opportunity to start conversations, and that's what I hope will happen. That's it.
Right. Thank you, Jane. And thank you for taking this on. I think this is going to be a major segment of our program after we get past the mural unveiling and then Human Rights Day. This will be a kind of way in which we transition to the new year. And I do think that this is really a cornerstone of our work, is helping the town understand who the town is, who we are, and what our various experiences are. So I'm grateful for you for spearheading this. Is there are there particular things that you need help with from the commission?
Well, we were talking about this before, and since I'm not a good manager, I can't even imagine what I need help with. With what I need a couple of things. One of them is I need somebody who's really good at publicity and visuals, who likes to make flyers that get people's attention. And the other thing is I need money, and I'm hoping that we're going to have some of that fairly soon. We'll see. And the last thing I need is people to talk to, because I don't think well by talking to myself. And every time I talk to somebody else, better ideas come out. So if I call you up and say, this is what I think, what do you think? I need you to talk to me and respond and tell me what I forgot to think about, because that I think is going to be very important. But right now I'm thinking we need publicity, and we need publicity that is targeted to everybody who lives here and gets them interested in finding out what's going to happen. So if you're good at that, let me know. That's where we're going.
I would say that's definitely a Margaret role. She's really good at that.
Yeah, and I am going to talk to her sometime in the next couple of days.
And Jean, can you remind me what the money's for?
Yeah, the first woman is a nationally recognized speaker and community organizer, and it's to pay her, and I wasn't going to pay anybody else. And then Katie reminded me that I was exploiting people who were being marginalized and I needed to pay them too. So I revised the budget, and it's not too late to revise the budget, Katie. That was a big relief. So we will pay the person who facilitates the conversation. Jim Mercurio may not take it because he's a member of the clergy, but or he may want to donate it to something, but that's his decision. And then there's I really have to get going on the other one, the one about the people with disabilities, but it's to pay the facilitators so that they don't feel like they're giving their work. One of the problems that happens when you have these kinds of conversations is you ask people who've already been traumatized by being excluded and abused to tell everybody how they've been excluded and abused, and then you don't pay them. This is not nice. It's exploitative, and therefore we will pay people who are the facilitators.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jane, I'm happy to talk to you anytime you want to talk.
Well, now that you're home after you're cruising all over Europe. No, I've been waiting for you to come home. I have been laying in wait for the opportunity, so we will do that.
Are you going to be at the thing Saturday at the mural
I
thing?
have another meeting at 11 o'clock
Okay.
Saturday morning.
Okay.
I may get there at the very end, but I'm not going to be able to be there at the beginning.
Okay.
And I know another good point of connection when it comes time to publicize will be the school backpacks. And I
Oh, yeah.
have zero doubts that Kelly Lyman will be very excited to help get the word out to be building
Yeah.
that community.
And she's already been very helpful. And Shamir, the lady who's the head of special services.
Jimmy,
You know, somebody's going to think that I'm doing this personally. I do it to everybody. She was very helpful and had some families in mind, but I haven't gotten back to her, so I don't know. But yeah, they were already involved, and they also had some very good ideas.
Great. Well, it sounds like you've got some great interlocutors to engage. Margaret is definitely the person to talk about the visuals. And then the fundraising, I know you're working with someone, but if there's a way I can be helpful, just let me know.
You know, this is terrible. I've known this guy forever and I can't remember his name. This is what happens when you get old. It'll come to me.
That's why we write it down.
I wrote it down and I have his email.
then you've got it. That's
Okay.
a wonderful technology. Okay, so I think then if that's anything else from the communications and outreach subcommittee to report out. All right, well then we are, I think, at the end of our meeting since there's no public here to publicly comment. I guess the last thing, Monica, I don't know if I know the conversations have started about in-person meetings again, and if we're going to have to start thinking about that at some point, but you'll let us know where that conversation goes.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything trickling down to us yet, but when I do, I will let you know ASAP, and I will request the council chambers. So we'll be all set.
Okay, so for the foreseeable future, though, this is where we'll see each other as always.
I have one more question. Did you hear back from Susan Johnson?
I did not. So
Okay. She really wanted to come talk to us.
I know, and I dropped the ball on inviting her soon enough to get her to this one, but hopefully she'll respond. My understanding was she was on the hearing today. I know Heather about the hospital as well. So hopefully she'll get back to us and we'll be able to hear from her at our December meeting. So all right. Well, thank you, everyone. Monica?
Just while we have everyone here, for the next meeting, can everyone please bring their calendars for the next year? Because we will have to approve our meeting dates for the next calendar year. So I just want to make sure everyone is prepared. I'll put it in an email, but just in case I forget.
Reinforcement is important.
I remember the other man's name. It's Anthony Hobson. And that,
Anthony Howard, yes. Who's helping you on the
will
funding.
recognize that last name.
Okay. All right. Thanks, y'all. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see some of you on Saturday. So Thanks.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.